That's actually how I know I'll take a friendship further.
Yeah, for real.
That's like
real.
one of my
Crazy
things.
enough, I use that to know whether or not I'm actually gonna like try to pursue a girl.
That's actually smart though, because
like,
the ones who are
bro.
interested in you, they ask you questions.
Ask you questions.
They
back.
ask you questions.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to NOA Podcast. Speaking as your boy Tyler from my man's Trey.
You.
First one of 2025.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Facts. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Also, thank y'all for continuing to watch. All the people who subscribed to 2024. You know, we really just started doing the video podcast of 2024. So everyone who subscribed, liked, comment, showed some type of support, gave some type of advice, gave some type of encouragement, anything like that, we appreciate you guys. We're going to continue doing the podcast. You know, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. Trey really enjoys it too. So I really just want to thank you guys for supporting us and for showing us some love. So Trey, would you like to introduce the topic for today?
Topic for today. All right. So I believe this one should be good for all the boys and girls out there listening to the show.
Facts.
How to make yourself a better person starting this year and frankly 2025. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're not new to the show, welcome back.
Facts.
Me and Tyler, we're very big into self-improvement. You know, I met Tyler at 18, and ever since then, we've really just challenged each other to constantly be better. A big statement we kind of say is 1% a day.
1%.
You know, you're constantly working, you're constantly trying to do something, and even if you're not able to fully accomplish it that day, you always got tomorrow. But the whole point is just to make yourself better, a better person, a better human being, a better man or woman, you know, a better loved one, for your relationships and all that. So I have a couple things here that I kind of want to go into, and Tyler himself has a couple things too. How do you want to do it? Do you want to kind of go back and forth, one after the other, or just?
I mean, you could just talk, and I might just go off. You have more than I have, so it'd be kind of hard to go. Eventually, you'll just be.
Yeah. I would just kind of be going by myself. All right, y'all. So the first one I have is to take time to self-reflect. All right. So the reason I think this is important to do, because I've noticed a lot of us, we go through, you know, situations where you learn a life lesson or something that could either help you both positively and negatively. And what we do, we'll go through that situation, and then we don't take any time to like process having gone through it. We don't take any time to like having to realize what just happened to me. We kind of just go on to the next thing. And I think it's important for us to stop for a second, pull back, evaluate either where we went right, evaluate where you went wrong, what you could have done better, what you couldn't have done and you shouldn't have done, and essentially try to use it for the next time, to learn from the situation and to learn from having gone through all that. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Self-reflection is a huge thing. I think a lot of people don't realize in every situation you go through, I think, me personally, I believe there's something you did right and there's something you did wrong. As people, we're not perfect, so in each scenario, you could have definitely did something better. Whether you could have carried yourself better, you could have said something a little bit better, or maybe shouldn't have said something kind of along those lines. So I agree with you, and I think a lot of people don't always take the time to self-reflect.
Yeah.
I do think it's kind of difficult to self-reflect, because when you self-reflect, you're also looking at your miscues, looking at, okay, what I might have done wrong in this. Obviously, you could look at what you did right, of course, but you kind of got to look at both sides of the paper.
Yeah.
You got to look at, okay, what have I done wrong? Where was I wrong in this? Maybe I should have did this instead of that. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should have spoke up here. Or maybe I should have just been a little bit quiet here. Maybe I should have been a little bit more aggressive here, a little more conservative here. So, but it's hard to kind of self-reflect and realize where you might have messed up. But I agree with you. I think that's how you grow as a person.
Yeah, and it's hard to kind of, especially if you might have messed up in a particular situation, it's kind of hard to call yourself out, you know? Like, I should have did better here. And me particularly, I have gone through times, man. I can remember when I'm like 18, 17, 16, and I'm like, I wish I didn't do that. You know?
Yeah,
like,
for real,
damn, man.
bro.
Come on, why was I thinking that way? Why did I decide to do that thing? And I think it takes a very strong person to sit there and self-reflect and be like, you know what, I messed up.
Yeah,
I messed up. I shouldn't have did this. I should have did this. I should have either did better here or one way, shape, or form. And I believe if more people did that, we would avoid a lot of the situations that we kind of get put into, either by ourselves or by other people. Yeah. And overall, it would make you a better person in just your overall relationships and just like your life. So that's my first one. The second one I have is essentially to set a growth mindset. kind of like what I said earlier with Tyler. We do this whole thing. It's 1% a day. Now, everyone's different. You can be 5% a day, however you want to do it. But the whole point is to essentially constantly grow. You shouldn't ever be in a point where in your life wherein you're not a student. You know, me and Tyler, we heard this coming out of college, even frankly during college too. Always be a student. A lot of us, for the ones who do go off to college, you still end up being a student. But a lot of us, we graduate high school and we never either pick up a book again, don't go to the gym, go work out. We don't do anything in regards to just personal growth because
getting better.
All right, well, I don't have to read anymore. I have English class. Or I don't have to run around because I no longer go to PE. Like all those things that were built up, that kind of routine that you kind of had coming out of your childhood years, you kind of like fall off and you stop doing those things. And I personally believe all those things are good for personal growth. I think it was important for us all to read as kids because you got to know how to read. Even though we didn't like reading, it was still important for us to do so. And I saw it as a very alarming thing that says a majority of young adults in our generation don't read,
know how to read.
Bro. They don't read, which is crazy to me.
And I remember we had Cassie on, who's a teacher, and she was saying a lot of the kids now that she's teaching can't read, bro. They don't know how to read. Yeah. That's just wild.
I watched a YouTube video last year, like maybe December, November. Regardless, it was high schoolers, 12th graders,
they know how to read,
who are reading on the 3rd grade level.
That's wild.
And they're still graduating. And I'm like, yo, why are we
letting that through?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Was our education system not good enough anymore? But my whole point being is it's important to constantly set these goals for yourself, work on them, check them off. It'll build your confidence. It'll build your self-esteem. It'll overall just make you more confident in yourself, saying, I can do these things. So I will continue to work on them, continue to make myself better. And overall, you'll just become a better human being, in my opinion.
I think to kind of go off the growth mindset, I think what will also help is just like the content that you watch as well. Mm-hmm. I know, obviously I agree with Trey. Everyone should be reading, especially books that are going to help you become better. But we do live in a digital age, Everyone has phones.
True.
Everyone, is on Instagram, on Snapchat, on YouTube, on Twitter, or whatever you're on. You should really be mindful of the content you're watching. And to help with the growth mindset is also just watching content that's, motivational, or watching content that's really going to open your mind and going to help you grow.
Yep.
Watching content that you can actually learn from. Yep. Me personally, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, all the content I watch is just growth. That's a lie. I love football. So
you watch sports.
Obviously, you know what I mean? I'm going to watch Pat McAfee, or I'm going to watch some highlights. You know what I'm saying? But also a part of what I watch too is I watch a decent amount of Jordan Peterson, because he's always talking about, he really makes me think in his mindset and the way he views the world, and it kind of makes me think a little bit.
It's a different perspective.
Patrick Bet-David also gives a lot of really good advice, especially one to people all around, but especially the young men, on becoming better and kind of growing each and every day. I watch different podcasts as well. I think his name is Chris I just started. I think his name is like Chris Williamson. I don't know, but he's a podcaster, but he interviews a lot of different people, and it's kind of insightful, the people that he's interviewing. I learned a lot from that. So I think a lot of kind of the goal for the growth mindset is, what are you watching?
I would definitely have to agree with that, Tyler. Definitely. Ready to go into the third one?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Live more in the moment. Now, this is one that I have had to practice over time.
It's hard sometimes.
And to be honest with you, if this is something that you haven't done, you will have to practice it as well. But the way life is, it's just so fast-paced, Like, it's always going, constantly moving. Me particularly, I felt as though ever since 18, I've noticed it more and more that life is just kind of like going by, and it doesn't slow down for nobody. It doesn't stop for nobody. It's just constantly moving. Just the hustle and bustle of life. You go to work, you go to school, you do this, that, the other. Slow down. Learn to just relax, live in the moment. For Christmas, I went to go hang out with Tyler and his family.
Thanks.
I made a particular point to live in that moment. Now, I will be the first one to say, because of that, I was more quiet throughout the whole process, kind of just like being a fly on the wall. And that might happen for some people. But for me, because it's not something that I'm always at, usually I'm at my own family for Christmas. I was going to say Thanksgiving. For Christmas and all that type of stuff, I hang out with just my mom, my grandmothers, my cousins. this was me being in a whole new environment. And really for me, particularly, what I wanted to get out of it was I want to learn how this family is and how this family kind of operates in this time of year. You know, I couldn't make the moment about me and try to talk to everybody and, you know, do all this. But I kind of wanted just to live in that. How does this family operate? You know, what are the Wallers like? You get to know the Wallers, per se. And for me, that's just kind of like how I took it. That helped me live in that moment. I enjoyed every day I was there because I was present, you know, being there, talking to pops, talking to moms, conversing with his sisters every now and then, eating. When I was just sitting down, we were eating dinner together, and they were making fun because like the day or so before, there was this older woman that was like hitting on me and Tyler, you know, and we were just talking about that, going back and forth.
That was funny.
Exactly, but it's just the moments like that.
Yeah.
I kind of just lived in them, soaked them in, realized them for what they are, because don't know how many of those Christmases I will have with that family, because I have my own family that I go hang out with. And then I enjoyed it. I took it for what it is. If there was anything I could learn from that moment, I tried to learn from it. And I use it as inspiration for one day, if I want to have my own family, this is something that I can aspire to be. It was a very beautiful Christmas, and it was a very nice Christmas. Yeah. So it's something that I can work towards in the future if I actually want to go down that route.
Thanks. I always enjoy Christmas, bro. It's like a whole ordeal at my house, bro. It's like that every year. But I agree. You know, life kind of goes by fast, and it's funny because during Christmas Eve, me, Trey, really my family, we ended up going to New York City, and we had like a dinner. We had basically dinner with like some of my other family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, stuff like that. And, you know, me and Trey were, you know, talking like my aunt, kind of picking her brain, you know, kind of I'm catching up with her, but also, you know, we're picking her brain, asking her for advice. And, you know, one thing I asked her was, what was one thing you wish you knew when in your 20s? And she said, how fast everything goes by.
Yes. Yep.
How fast, like this. She was like, yo, you're 40.
Yeah.
You don't even know. It just goes by. It happens so fast. And crazy enough, she's not the only one I've heard that advice from. I heard that advice from many people. People who not even family telling me that. So it kind of makes you realize, like, dang, before you know it, all this is going to be over. And I remember yesterday, me and Trey were sitting in the kitchen talking. And I remember I was telling him about stuff I was going through sophomore year.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, sophomore year, I'm 19. I'm already 24 now. A lot of things done changed. I went from living on the campus and now having my own crib.
Yeah.
So a lot of things have changed between now and then. You know, living on campus broke to like now I have a job. Like I have an actual career. So it's crazy how fast time goes. And even talking to Trey, I'm sitting there with a smile on my face like, dang, those were like really good times. And I even explained to Trey, and we both already know this, we've said this, but it's like, you know, the times that we live in now, like years from now, we're going to be reminiscing about these times and kind of wishing we were back here.
Yep.
You know? At times I wish I was 19 years old, sophomore year, because everything, it was easier.
Yeah.
Everything was easier. It was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Around a lot more girls.
Yeah.
Could go out and do more. Like I ain't gonna say I was partying more, but I was definitely just going out and hanging out much more.
Much less responsibility.
Yeah, that I do now. Like now I gotta pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
Living on campus, I had no bills to pay. Like it was, I just ain't got worried about nothing. So you really gotta appreciate the times you're in. Even if times right now are rough for you, you know, even if times right now suck, because you have no idea what life has to offer, you know, 5, 10, 15 years from now. You could be in a much worse position and be like, dang, man, I remember when I was younger, life was so much easier. Or you could be in a better position. You might look back and kind of appreciate the struggle that you went through. Like, dang, I remember going through these hard times, but because I went through those hard times, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very, very important to live in the moment. Very, very important to live in the moment.
All right, word. All right, so the next one I have is to learn to be humble. Now, I believe this one's important. And I know not everyone's religious out there.
Listen,
but
humble yourself before God humbles you. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Tyler just said it.
I'm telling you, bro.
Tyler just said it.
Telling you.
You really don't want, in my eyes, the Lord to humble you, because what he does it's not going to be the way you want it to happen. It might be much worse. It might be much worse.
Speaking from experience.
But a humble person, man, is a person that, you know, in my opinion, you can get along with well. They're just genuinely good people. You don't make yourself the center of attention. You understand that everyone has their moment in the limelight, and that's perfectly fine. I think being humble is an important trait to have just in your relationships. One, it just shows the kind of character that you have as a human being. And in my opinion, man, I think it's just how you should carry yourself. I try to follow the footsteps of older men who have done it right, in my eyes at least, and a lot of them are very humble gentlemen who might not have had humble beginnings in their younger years, but they've kind of gone through the trials and tribulations of life, and it has kind of humbled them over time, and they've realized, this is probably the more important way to do things. So without having to go through all the trials and tribulations, I think it's important for us to just, before we get there, just humble yourself if you can. I think it's just important to do. Remind yourself that you're not better than anybody. We're all human beings. We're all sinners. We're all born sinners.
Thanks.
And then that's just how it is. We're all trying to share this wonderful earth, this wonderful planet that we call Earth, and we're all just trying to figure it out. None of us is more knowledgeable than the other in just how this whole planet operates, because none of us created it.
For sure.
We were just born here, and this is just our reality now. Like, this is kind of like what we got to put up with. But for the time that you are on this planet, what you can do, in my eyes, is try to be positive. Try to be humble. Try to spread positivity out there in the world where, there's just so much negative. But Tyler, would you like to add your 2 cents?
Listen, I agree. I think it's very good to be humble. Kind of like I was saying before, going off of experience. Definitely want to humble yourself before God humbles you, because you ain't really going to be happy with the way he humbles you. Yeah. There's a good chance he's going to do it in a way that you probably weren't expecting. It might cause a little bit more hurt. Yeah. But he does what he got to do to bring his children closer to him. So, hey, it is what it is. But I think if you humble yourself before the Lord, he will bless you and make sure that you are put in the right situations and put the right people in your life. I think other people like humble people. There's a difference between, it's not a bad thing being confident, but sometimes you could be arrogant. And when you're arrogant and cocky and stuff like that, and you act like you know it all, a lot of people ain't really banging with that. A lot of people don't really like that.
Yep.
So it's definitely better to kind of, be humble. I'm not saying lay down before nobody. You can still be humble and be a confident human being.
Of course.
But kind of just, watch yourself a little bit. Keep yourself in check. Like Trey was saying, nobody is better than anybody. I'm a man of God, so I believe, we are all sinners. And we are all sinners. We all mess up. And it's kind of how life is. And that's why I also believe, you should really forgive people as well. And there's a saying that goes, we all sin in different ways. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't sin the way you sin doesn't mean I don't sin. Yeah. Doesn't mean I don't mess up.
Yep.
So it's definitely a good thing to kind of understand that, stay humble, also forgive people too. We all make mistakes.
All right. So the next one I have is to change your perspective. Now, I know Tyler spoke a little bit about this earlier. He listed out a couple people that he listens to. I believe one of them was Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson, man. I've been listening to him since probably I was 20 years old. I started really getting into him and listening to him. So about 4 years now, and he's changed the way how I look at people. He's changed the way how I interact with people. Kind of go off of what you said, books. I've read a lot of Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws of Power, Mastery. I've read, I listened to this one, The Art of Seduction, The Laws of Human Nature. I actually have another one of his books I haven't started reading yet, but I got it for Christmas, The 33 Laws of War, and a lot of things that I've learned from him and from his interviews I take and I put into my life, and it's helped me. It's kind of changed my perspective. Trey has changed my perspective as well. Before, when I was 18, I had a lot more of a negative perspective, a negative view on life. Trey was a lot more positive, so he influenced that. Plus, I read, what did I read?
Was it The Power of Positive Thinking?
There we go, The Power of Positive Thinking. I forgot. The Power of Positive Thinking. And a lot of those books that I've just named changed my perspective and made me a much positive person. It also helped me with my interactions with people. Another one is How to Win and Influence Friends. Change with how I interact with people, change with how I view people, change on, how I interact with people, how I view people, even how I might judge people or try not to judge people now. how I might sometimes be a little bit more cautious with certain people. So a lot of that, and I agree, man. You gotta change your perspective. I know Trey didn't really get into it, but you definitely can't go into this world just being negative and expect good things to happen.
Yeah.
If you're constantly thinking negatively and constantly being negative things is gonna happen to you. It's just you attract what you think. If you think about that all day long, that's how it's finna be. I used to think negatively all day long, so everything that happened to me, I kind of deemed negative. Why? Because that's all I was thinking about. Crazy enough, I just switched my perception, switched how I might have viewed things, kind of started thinking a little bit more on the bright side of things, and now my life is great. Now I walk around with a whole bunch of positive things happening to me. Nothing really changed, but just how I started to view
just
things.
Your mindset.
Yeah.
I believe Tyler did a very good job, but I'm still going to do my own little explanation anyway, because I don't really think there's many things that I could really disagree with in his statements, to be honest with you. But me personally, I do believe having other perspectives is extremely important. We all know dictators out there that they have a whole bunch of yes men around them, and that ends up crumbling the empire. You essentially need other perspectives, one for growth purposes, kind of like how Tyler said. When I first met him, he was a little bit more negative. After I met him, we, of course, just had our conversations. I personally believe he had it in him that he wanted to make that change already.
I did.
I merely probably just pushed him over that edge, and he was reading the books that he was reading, of course, and all that type of stuff. And then I believe you said it was, the summer after you actually put the stuff into practice and actually started doing them?
Yeah, 100%.
But that's all him actually being willing to change his perspective, actually kind of like taking the words into consideration, actually doing his own research. And, I think that's something that so many people, we're in these echo chambers where we only hear what you want to hear. You only hear, this is more on the extreme side of things, but we hear, like, dating nowadays is rougher for a lot of people, men and women alike. We hear, there's only bad men out there, or there's only bad women out there.
Yeah.
And if you stay in those chambers where all you ever hear is the negative thing about whatever gender you're trying to get at, that's all you'll think. So you'll only think there's bad men if all the videos you're watching and all the people you're dealing with and the people who you're friends with all say there's only bad men. The same thing goes with women too. Yeah.
Vice versa.
If me and Tyler want girls, and only videos I watch are just how women are terrible, they're just not going to be doing good things. I come and talk to Tyler. He tells me situations that he goes through with women,
we be cooked,
and they're all terrible. After a while, you're just kind of like, you're putting that energy out there. That's just what you're going to receive back.
100%.
So I believe a change of perspective is important. Being able to think outside the box, being able to realize your perspective isn't the only one, and that there's others out there that actually could be more beneficial to yours if you were just to flip it and actually use it in your situation. So that's what I would say about
be open-minded,
changing your perspective. Yes,
be open-minded.
I should have added down this list, but that's another one. Being open-minded too definitely goes a long way. Okay, next thing. If you make a mistake, apologize, man. Take ownership when you mess up, when you either say something,
people don't like
do
that.
Something. I know it's not the easiest thing to do.
People don't like to do that, bro.
But I think, I know people don't like to do it, but I think it's important. It shows character, it shows integrity, it shows, especially depending on the type of relationship you have with that person, it shows you care. It shows like, hey, listen, like, I'm sorry I couldn't have pulled through. Maybe we can do this another time. Or, hey, listen, I'm sorry I said I would do this. Unfortunately, something came up where I wasn't able to do it. Can we reschedule it or something? Just some kind of reasoning as to why you couldn't do what you were saying you were going to do.
Thanks.
To me, I think it's important. I don't know. Maybe it's just a lost art. I'm not sure. But I just feel as though we had more integrity in the past, wherein if people did things and they messed up, they would take ownership of it. Both men and women. I'm not singling out any one gender. Both men and women.
Facts.
And now it's like we've lost that and we don't do it,
Integrity's gone. That's for another podcast, though. But integrity's gone, unfortunately.
But I think I'll kind of give it off to Tyler here, and he'll tell you guys his 2 cents. But I personally believe that taking ownership of when you mess up is important, man.
Nah, I think Trey pretty much hit it on the head. I think regardless, you need to take ownership because it shows just the type of person you are. If you just don't take ownership when you mess up, it kind of shows, like Trey said, lack of integrity, lack of character. Me personally, I don't believe it's a good look, especially if it's someone that you say that you care about. If you say that you care about whether you're really supposed to be really good friends with them, whether you're a business partner with them, whether you're in a romantic relationship with them, and if you can't apologize when you're wrong, or if you might have misspoke or said you were going to do something but realized you couldn't, it's you got to take ownership of that. And I've been in multiple situations where I've kind of been on the other side where someone might not have apologized to me or said something to me, and honestly, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I know other people too. It kind of, it rubs them the wrong way, especially if you're trying to be a person of integrity or you carry yourself a certain way. When someone doesn't show that same level of respect back, it kind of feels a little crappy, to be honest with you. So definitely, I understand. Listen, life happens. We all gonna make mistakes. I understand sometimes we all misspeak, especially being young. I know even me, I try to be a man of my word, but sometimes being so young, I might get a little too ahead of myself and I might misspeak. But if I do misspeak, I at least try to let that person know, hey, I messed up here and I'm sorry, and maybe we could try to do it this way instead of this other way, or maybe I can't do this for you now, but if you give me a little time, I will be able to. And it just shows the type of person you are. It shows that you're a person of integrity, and also shows that person that you have some symbol of respect for them.
Yeah, man. Definitely shows that you care about the relationship and that person, man. Definitely. All right. Last couple I got here. Next one I have is giving back. Now, you can give back in a multitude of different ways. You can give compliments. You can go to charity, do charity work. You can give back to your own family and friends.
Yeah,
why I think this is just something important for us to do, because one, I think it keeps you humble. But it shows, I think it can show empathy in certain situations. I think it can show care. Some could say admiration. But you feel, and I'm not sure how Tyler feels about this, but I feel good when I'm good to people.
Facts.
When you're generous without wanting to receive anything in return. So, like, I'm not giving to get something back. I'm just giving to give. Me personally, I feel like that good karma builds up over time and it'll come back at you. I think it's important for us to do because there's just so much bad out there in the world that I think you need more good just kind of going on just to I guess, not overflow, but kind of like counteract the bad per se.
Yeah.
And I think it pays dividends just to do more good in the world than it does to do more bad in the world, in my personal opinion. One, you'll notice your mindset becomes more positive by you being more generous and just being giving out there. You'll notice that you'll just begin to meet particular people in your life. And in my personal opinion, I think that's just God sending those people who are good for you, because I believe good people find good people. You have that energy out there that you kind of just radiate, and over time, the people who are supposed to find you, they find you. I mean, it's happened for me, so that's kind of why I'm personally thinking that if it can happen for me, it can happen for any of y'all watching this. So yeah, I personally believe that if you can, in whatever way, shape, or form that you can, whether it be something as small as giving somebody a compliment, or buying someone a cup of coffee, buying someone who might not have food, a sandwich, just giving back in one way, shape, or form, I think will go far for you.
Yeah, God blesses those who give. God blesses those who are generous. Also, if you have some, why not give it? Why not spread some type of love? There are people out there struggling. There are people out there who are really going through it. And if you're in a position where you can, help somebody or bless somebody, whether that's, through a compliment, whether that's helping them, like whether that's giving them money or whatever. There's many different ways to help. There's many different ways to give back. But if you're able to do so, why not, man? Why not? It's a hard world out there, man. Life is hard, bro. Life is very hard. So if you can make someone's life better, why not give?
Yeah, definitely. All right, last one I got for the day. And then Tyler, if you had any that you kind of wanted to kind of do, we can. Listen more. I think this one's important because so many of us love to talk. And it's kind of ironic because me and Tyler, we got a whole podcast and we're talking too.
You know what's crazy though? In person, we really don't be talking.
Yeah, for real.
Like we got 100+ episodes of us just yapping all here, but like meet us in person, bro.
Quietest dudes you'll know.
It ain't even like this. For real. It ain't even like this for real.
But they always say, listen more than you speak, man. And it's important. You learn a lot just by listening, to be honest with you. A lot of the times, me and Tyler, we go out, we just ask people questions and just listen to them talk. Because they have some people have just such interesting stories to say. But you can learn anything from anybody. You never really know, you know. Whether they be kids, young adults, elderly. I believe listening has gotten me to the point in my life wherein, one, I'm able to socialize with anybody genuinely. I personally believe I can make friends with anyone. By choice. Like, if I choose to, I can definitely become friends with them just because of
the fact that you listen.
Yeah, you know, and I remember studying in Italy and just coming across English people from Germany, from the Netherlands, and one compliment they all gave me. I was like, "You're a good listener. You're a good listener." Because I would just sit there and just let them.
It's funny. My coworker just told me that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "You're really good at listening."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know. But I think that if you want to make friends out there, man, that's a wonderful way to go do it. You know, just sitting back, kind of like listening to the conversation.
And you know what's crazy? Kind of to go back off the point that you made before this one is. Personally, me, a part of giving to me is also listening. Because I come across many people, and I could kind of like get a feel of it.
That's a great point, Tyler.
I've come across many people who I can just tell, like, got no one to talk to.
Yes, I've come across that as well.
So, like, how I give to them is just I sit there and I just listen, bro, and I just let them talk and talk and talk and talk. But I could just tell it. You know, typically, you know, you'll run across someone around our age who I'm like, damn, you really probably got no real friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed a lot of it is just like elderly people.
Yes,
you know, I work in a hospital.
Yeah, I know.
So I come across a decent amount of elderly people, and sometimes like they'll be kind of ranting, and I'll just purposely sit there and just listen to them and try to talk to them a little bit because I'm like, dang, you probably got no family that really be seeing you.
Yeah.
Or you really don't live with nobody. Like, you came here and then you gonna go home and be by yourself the rest of the day. That's your only real human interaction.
That's your only real human. This appointment.
Really is your own real human interaction.
Yeah.
So because of that, bro, I just be listening to them and just let them go on rants. You know, they talk about a whole bunch of random stuff or whatever. Sometimes they give me some type of advice, so I'm like, cool. Other times they're just talking about their life.
Yeah, they're just talking about themselves.
Yeah, they're talking about themselves. I'm like, all right, cool. So you learn something. I agree. I think listening is very, very important. You know, one of the 48 laws of power, I believe law 4 is say less. It's like say less than necessary. But a part of that too is like, you know, listening
more. Yeah.
And I noticed people started to like me more when I started talking less about myself.
Yeah. Because everyone likes talking about themselves.
Everyone likes talking about themselves.
If there's one thing I've learned just over my 24 years of being alive, everyone loves to talk about themselves. And you know what they love even more? When someone's listening to them talk about themselves.
100%.
And the minute you become that person is the minute you start making more friends, but I promise you.
Yeah, man.
It just happens.
Just listen to people. I've also gotten a bunch of great advice because I sat there and I listened to people.
Yeah.
I've had people put me on to certain things because I was willing to sit there and listen to people.
Yeah, I've gotten opportunities because of it.
Yeah, I've gotten opportunities too just by listening. I'm like, dang, I ain't never really think I'd be here if I wasn't.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So listening to people, I believe, is a huge thing. I think people love when you listen, and I think it's a very, very good trait to have. So I agree wholeheartedly.
I want to also throw into that as well, remembering. If you're going to listen, at least remember it.
Yeah, don't just listen like active, as they say, active listening.
Because when you listen and then you actively like remember it, bring it up next conversation, bro. They'll appreciate it so much more because it's like, yo, he actually remembered what we were talking about. Yep.
100%. Also, listening helps keep the conversation. Because like a lot of the times too is I'll go into a conversation not really knowing what I'm going to say.
True.
But I'll be listening to them and then they'll say something and then I'm like, oh.
And they're so
I pick up
intrigued by it and you'll just ask them a question about that thing.
Ask them about that one thing. Then they go on.
Off
and then
of that,
as I'm listening, they'll say something else.
You find something else.
Ask you about that. Next thing you know, I've been talking to this
about 2-3 hours. Yeah.
Real, bro.
Literally.
Just off of listening. I'm like, yo, I really had no idea what to say. But me listening helps me keep the conversation.
Because you pick up
flowing.
on context clues in the conversation that you can build off of.
Exactly. And listen, you obviously throughout the listening, you still talk about yourself. You still input things. You're not just quiet the whole time. But it does also add a level of mystery. Because 9 out of 10, if you listening, the more you listening, the less you're talking.
True.
Also, the less that person knows about you.
True.
Now, I'm not saying to completely close up and not talk about yourself, because you can't be like a weirdo and just take all the information and not give anything.
Yeah,
like,
you could do that. Because I will say this. You will meet people out there who, because like everyone, like we said, everyone likes talking about themselves. Yeah. They're just going to talk about themselves. They're not going to ask you any questions. Because me and Tyler, we've come across this plenty of times.
People won't really
where you ask questions about people, they just talk about themselves. And they continue to talk about themselves. But they ask you no questions about you. So it's just kind of like, all right, well, I mean, I guess this is just how we're doing it. So it can and will happen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It does. But you definitely seem more mysterious. And then I also personally, I use it to see how interested the other person's in me as well.
Me too.
Because I'll talk, I'll listen, I'll see if they ask me questions.
Yes.
And if they start asking me questions about myself, or start asking me the same questions I asked them, then I'm like, oh, okay, this person actually is like a little bit interested in me or interested in my life as well.
That's actually how I know I'll take a friendship further.
Yeah, for real.
That's like one of my things.
Crazy enough, I use that to know whether or not I'm actually going to like try to pursue a girl.
That's actually smart though, because the ones who are interested in you, they ask you questions.
They ask you questions.
They ask you questions, bro. They ask you questions.
Boys, use that, bro. Yeah. If you talking to a girl and she just talking about herself,
and she's not asking you nothing, she's not even asking you the questions you're asking her. Yeah, she don't care about you, bro.
For real, and I'm not. That's all she really has to do. You ask her a question, she answers the question. She can go on her own little rant, but does she ask those questions?
What about you?
Exactly.
What do you think?
Exactly.
If that's not asked,
then it's like, yo, why am I even...
Find another one, buddy.
She don't really care, bro.
Find another one.
She don't really care. So, yeah. So listening is a great thing. Listening is a good thing.
Did you have any ones that you wanted to add to it?
I did.
Or did Mike cover everything?
Trey covered a lot of it. I'm going to be honest. I ain't really have much regardless, but Trey pretty much covered everything. What I would kind of just add is... one, get closer to God.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think God is very, very important.
Especially in this day and age.
Especially in this day and age. I don't think we would... Listen, man, I can only speak for myself. God has done so much for me. He has blessed me tremendously. He has put me in certain positions to help me grow as a person, help me grow as a man, help me to grow financially. He's done so much for me. And I think God is definitely the most important thing. In the Bible, it says, seek, I'm going to mess this up, so don't quote me, but it says, seek first the kingdom of God, and then everything will be given unto you. Essentially, God will give you everything that you want, but you have to seek his kingdom first. You have to put God first and make him the center of your life and seek him wholeheartedly with all your heart. And when you do that, then God will bless you with all the things that you want. God will give you all the desires of your heart. God wants you to be prosperous. He wants you to be great. He doesn't want you to live a very sad and miserable life and be poor and have nothing. No, God wants to bless you and give you the desires of your heart, but you also have to seek him first. You have to put forth effort and show the Lord, hey, I'm here for you. I'm doing this for you. I want to follow your commandments. I want to be as Christ-like as I possibly can. And like I said, we all mess up. We all are sinners, and God understands that, and God will forgive us for our sins. But we have to put forth effort and show that we are sorry, that we repent, and that we want to get closer to him. So I would say seek God, because honestly, without God, I don't think you'll go anywhere in life. You need God. That's the only way you're really going to be successful. Personally, that's what I believe. So that's why I would say, Trey, you have anything?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I have nothing to disagree with in regards to Tyler's statements. I second it. Personally, I would not be the man that I am today had the Lord not put me into the positions that I was put in.
100%.
Giving me the mindset that I currently have. Having me meet some very crucial people that kind of put me on the track that I am in now. I mean, to kind of think about it, there was a good chance that Tyler would have never been my college roommate, and I would have never met him. Also, there was a chance I never ended up going to that college, but that's the college that I ended up going to, and having met him. And me personally, I can say that Tyler was a very big impact in my life. I started going to the gym because of him. I started taking nutrition more seriously because of him. So the Lord has put people in my life that, if not for, just kind of like those people and just my mindset and just the way I think, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I really can't say, he's wrong in his statements, because he's helped me out tremendously. And a lot of it's, the statement does go, the Lord helps those that help themselves. A lot of this has to do with me wanting to aspire to be these things, I was always interested in going to the gym. Never really had anybody to kind of like put me on and teach me. The Lord ended up sending someone in my life that I could, and because of that, I was better off for it, able to go to the gym, and proud to say I've been doing that since, 2020 now at this point?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, for some time, and I definitely agree with Tyler, what he's saying. For those out there who really aren't believers, I think it's something that you should definitely consider.
Right.
And for those who are believers, I think it's, especially in 2025, the way the world is, I think it's important for you to get even deeper into it, further than you've already been before. So, yeah.
100%, man. Second one would be discipline. I feel like not much has to be said, man. I think if you want anything out of life, you got to be disciplined with it.
Every day.
Whatever it is. Whatever you want to be successful in life, whatever you want in life, you got to have some symbol of discipline.
Every day.
And discipline, as I say, discipline is basically doing the things that you don't want to do. Even if you don't want to do it, you still do it. And I don't think, I understand me and Trey, we're still very early when it comes to this whole podcast thing, but, we have seen growth, tremendous growth,
Real.
And a lot of that came from just being disciplined,
Yeah.
Me and Trey sit here and, we're both college graduates, and we wouldn't have been there without any semblance of discipline, being able to sit there and to do homework and to do work that we ain't really want to do,
You can't really sleep on a 4-year college university, man. There's a tough stuff to go through.
For real. Me and Trey wouldn't be where we're at physically in terms of our bodies if we were able to be disciplined with the gym, being able to wake up at a certain time and stick to a certain schedule and continue to go each and every day.
It's a choice to make not to be fat.
Exactly. Like, our health wouldn't be where it's at now if we weren't disciplined. So discipline is huge, man. Discipline is huge. And a lot of people I know out there have big dreams. A lot of people want to be entrepreneurs or be millionaires or really even want to be like a surgeon. A lot of people out there have really big dreams. But the only way you're going to achieve any of your dreams is just being disciplined. And, I have this wallpaper, and I'll try to put it up somewhere. But it's like a little level, and it says, on one side it says the pain of discipline, and on the other side it says the pain of regret. And you'll have to pay such a higher price for the pain of regret than you do for the pain of discipline. In the moment, it sucks to be disciplined, but you're going to hurt so much more if you're not disciplined and 10 years go by and then you're regretting the fact that, dang, I wish I actually studied a little bit more. Dang, I wish I put more work toward this. Dang, I wish I stayed up a little bit later so I could have did this. Dang, I wish I didn't party as much so I could focus on what I wanted. And now you'll be sitting there with regret, And me and Trey are both young men. We're both 24 years old. And I know a lot of people who listen to us are around our age range. And I'll just say, man, especially if you're 24, 25, sacrifice this time now, because you're going to be very upset. If you're 35 years old, you done wasted all this time, and now you're sitting there not where you want to be in life. And all of it just came down to the fact that you were disciplined, that you didn't have the discipline enough to sit in and not go out and party and not hang out with people. You didn't have the self-control to say no to people, and now you upset, I would hate to see that. So definitely be disciplined is very important.
Yeah, I'm going to have to piggyback right off of what Tyler said, man. Being disciplined is extremely important, though tough. I will be the first to admit it is tough.
Oh, it's hard. No, yeah. I'm not saying this like it's easy. It's hard to be disciplined. I ain't saying that.
There's plenty of times, man. There's plenty of times where I remember early on in our working out journey, Tyler would come pick me up at my mom's house. And, I would dread having to get up. Because we used to go at 9 in the morning. I dread having to get up at 9, man. I don't want to go. I don't even want to go.
Crazy enough, we go earlier now.
And we go early. Yeah, we go earlier now. I think about 5:30 we out there. Much earlier now. But back then, I woke up around 8. And I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to go to the gym. But every day, best believe, I got in that car. And I'm like, all right, man. How's it doing? How'd you sleep? All right, man. Let's kind of get going. And funny to find out, he ended up telling me, he was like, yeah, bro, I ain't even go front. There were some days that like he'd get up out of bed and he's like, yeah, I gotta go pick this dude up, bro. I ain't even trying to go. But he still came and we still went to the gym. So it's that determination, man. You have to push through. You gotta be dedicated. You have to, because you know what the goal is. You know what the overall goal is, and there's no one's gonna do it for you. You have to do it for yourself.
Nice.
You're an adult. You're not a kid. You're an adult. Especially if you're 24, 25.
Yeah.
You know, it's on you. It's on you at the end of the day. So,
and I ain't gonna lie, and I'll add this. This is on the list, but like get somebody, make at least one friend that has the same exact goals as you that could kind of keep you accountable. Because like a lot of the reasons why I didn't want to go, but I still went, was also because I knew like, oh, okay,
yeah, he waiting on me.
Like Trey's waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there are some times we didn't go, but like there would need to be a good excuse. Like, yo, bro, I'm sick. I'm injured. I need to go spend time with my family. Like I done already made plans that I have to, abide by. Then okay, cool. We might skip. During the time we had school, yo, bro, I got an essay to write.
Oh yeah,
cool.
We did have a lot of school during that time.
Like cool. Yeah. There are acceptable excuses to maybe skip the gym or do that, but like overall, you got to be disciplined. But
because you should have priorities.
You still got priorities. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go to the gym with Trey and then not graduate. You know what I'm saying? It's like priorities. You know what I'm saying? You got to be smart. But having someone that has similar goals than you and that can also keep you accountable is very good. I notice a lot, especially people around our age, they don't have people who have similar goals as them, or they don't have really strong influences around them. Like the people around them are like still trying to go out, hang out and party and do all that other stuff. And like, listen, that's the life you want to live. Go ahead and live it. I ain't judging you. God bless you. Like I said earlier, we all sin in different ways. You gonna do you. If that's the life you want to live, if you want to party and you want to have fun and that's what you want to do, God bless you. That's not me though, So because I knew that's not me, I surrounded myself with people, i.e. Trey, who also ain't really living that life. And I think it would be so much harder for me to be disciplined and to get up early and to go to the gym and all this other stuff if Trey was hanging out till 3 a.m, partying all the time. And vice versa. It'd probably be hard for Trey to be disciplined if I was hanging out till 3 a.m. partying all the time. It would be so much harder. So you surround yourself with people who is going to keep you on the right track or at least help you. And even if they don't say nothing, you can see how their actions are. You can see how they're living. And because of that, their actions alone can motivate you. Trey don't really have to say, Tyler, do this, do that, or, hey, we should do this. But I'm in my room and I hear this dude walking around at 5 a.m. Dang, he's already up for the gym. All right, well, I definitely got to get up because he already up and moving. You know what I'm saying? Or I see him getting up and getting dressed to go to school and stuff like that. Then I'm like, oh, okay, Trey's going to go to school right now. Maybe I should probably do some reading. Maybe I should work on the podcast now. He's about to go do something productive. Maybe I should go do something productive.
Listen, man, I can't tell you how many times where me and Tyler were in like a college dorm together. One of us is playing a video game, sees the other one pull out homework, and it's like, all right,
cut the video game. Cut the video game off and start doing homework.
It's like he's here reading an essay, doing some math homework, something, and I'm like, all right, I gotta come back. No, I can't keep. I just feel so I'm not doing what I was supposed to be doing once I see homie doing work. So he is right in that regard. Like having someone around you that they don't even tell you, they're just doing their own thing, and you see them do it. Dang. It definitely makes you like, I should follow in their footsteps too. Like I should get my stuff together.
Yeah, I should follow suit. So I think that's really, really important.
I think we should make an episode out of because what you brought up there was I believe very important. Having like-minded friends, and I believe a lot of people don't really have that, so that could be its own topic in and of itself.
Nah, I don't think a lot of people have.
I think a lot of people don't even have friends in general, so that
plays a role. I don't think a lot of people have like-minded friends. They don't have friends at all, or listen, man.
We can do one with you teaching them how to.
Their friends are bad experience, like
bad influences, terrible influences.
Like I don't even. Maybe I'll say this on a different podcast. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Yeah,
there's just certain. There's just certain. Like I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
People being around bad influences, and that person gets lumped into said bad
influences. Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's honestly it's frustrating. You know what also makes it frustrating? It's frustrating when it's someone you care about. When it's someone you actually care about and you see how that's affecting it, that's what makes it more frustrating. If I care about you, it's unfortunate, but I'm definitely not frustrated.
Because you're just a regular stranger.
Yeah, but like, sometimes it be happening. It's happened to someone I've cared about in the past, and I'm like,
you can see the bad forces, and you're like, get away from that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not the case.
As they say, you can't save them, right?
No, you can't save everybody.
Can't save everybody. Last one I have is, Trey might have actually covered this a little bit, but I'm going to just say be honest with yourself and be honest with others. First and foremost, you got to be honest with yourself.
Honesty is the best policy.
Honesty is the best policy. You the only person. There's only one person in the world that knows all the lies that you've told, and it's you.
Yep.
And that's it. You got to be honest with yourself. Honest with yourself with what you need to be doing, who you need to be surrounding yourself with, how you need to be conducting yourself, how you need to act. You got to be honest with yourself. Because if you lie to yourself, you really just going to be living a really bad life. Because no one else knows what you really need in life.
Or you can live in the delusion.
Yeah. No one else knows, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and Trey are really close, but at the end of the day, I really don't know what he needs in life to truly conduct himself. Obviously, I can give him advice and try to help him, but like deep down, I don't know what he needs. I don't know the problems or the thoughts that he have in his head that he's going through on a daily basis. We don't tell each other every little thing. So it's like he has to be honest with himself in order to be successful, and vice versa. I have to be honest with myself. And that's why I think it's very important. You have to be honest with yourself, because that's the only way you're really going to get anywhere in life. You can't be living delusional.
Yep.
And to go off of that too, be honest with others, man. Honesty is the best policy. As they say, what's done in the dark shall come to light.
Yep.
You can lie to people, and that's cool and all, but eventually it's going to come out. And when it does come out, it's not really going to be a good look, man. I've had to end relationships because I've been lied to,
Yeah.
And it's just not a good look. It just doesn't look good. Because also, if you lying to others and someone finds out, they can't trust you.
Because it's just like, what else did you lie about?
What else are you going to lie about? They cannot trust you. They cannot keep you around, And when you're lying to others, you're torn with reality. And when you're lying to other people, man, it shows you don't really care about them. It shows that you really have no respect. It shows that you're selfish because you're willing to lie in order for you to gain something personally. Then tell them the truth and be willing to maybe lose that person or be willing to hurt that person's feelings. But at least it's the truth and you're letting them know, It also shows you think you could toy with reality, man. You can't toy with reality, bro. Jordan Peterson said one thing. He's also a clinical psychologist. And he was like, he's never seen anyone get away with anything. That's kind of a wild statement to say. You've never seen anyone get away with anything. Because eventually it's going to come to light, man. Now, don't get me wrong. It might take a couple years to come to light. But especially if you're lying to someone that you are in a relationship with, not necessarily just romantically, but also friendship-wise, also maybe just business-wise. Eventually, bro, something's going to hit the fan, man. Something's eventually going to hit the fan. So you got to be honest with people, man. Be honest, and people will respect you. Even if you're honest and it hurts their feelings, they'll at least respect you for it, man. One reason why I have respect with Trey is because he'll tell me the truth, and I know what it is. And vice versa, I'll tell him the truth. And because of that, that's also how we grow as people. If I'm doing something effed up, I would like for him to tell me the truth and not just be like, oh, no, Tyler, that's cool, and keep making a fool out of myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's foul. Yeah. Like, that's messed up, and vice versa. It shows that you care for someone if you're willing to tell them the truth. So, yeah, be honest with yourself and be honest with others. So that would be, my list in terms of just becoming a better person this year, 2025. Typically we give advice around this time because we're coming to the end of the show, but we have given advice. Yeah,
this whole show has been
the whole show.
So if you ain't take nothing from that, that's on you.
That's also wild. You ain't take nothing of that.
You didn't listen.
We just talked about listening skills. We just talked about listening skills, bro. Come on now, man. Get your head out your, what I'm saying? Come on now, bro. But thank y'all for watching. We appreciate you guys. We thank you for all the love, all the support you guys continue to show us on a daily basis, especially if you made it all the way to the end.
Yep, definitely.
Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment under this video, man. You can find us on Instagram at NOA_podcast. You can find us on TikTok at NOA Podcast 1 and NOA Podcast 2. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Just type in NOA Podcast and we pop right up. Once again, thank y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
Have a good one.